Hey, welcome back. I know it's been forever since I posted anything. I had very ambitious plans of throwing something up on the YouTube channel every week or so, but life and holidays and baking and family obligations got in the way, so hopefully it'll pick up a little bit more now in the spring and summer. But I wanted to post today the first of what I like to call a Cmf Party trick. And it's really aimed at two things. One is when you have to take a cake to a destination. So you're traveling with a cake, or you're having a birthday party at a venue and you're worried about getting the cake there. And in particular, I'm going to focus today on a little trick for cakes that are contrasting colors, especially when you're doing a dark cake with a white or light colored frosting. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I've gone to frost it and ended up with crumbs all over the knife, especially red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting, and it's enough to make you cry. So let's get started. The cake I'm making today is going to be immediately frozen, and that is for a customer who has to travel a couple hours with it. And so what I'm going to do is make the cake, which I've already done, and put a crumb layer on it, which we will talk about, and then immediately freeze the cake and keep it in an airtight container. And we're going to hand it off to her frozen, and when she gets to her destination, she's going to keep it frozen until the night before and then move it to the refrigerator. And then the day of the party, she's going to take it out of the refrigerator a good 2 or 3 hours before the event so that the cake reaches room temperature. And by freezing it and storing it this way, it's fresh when she eats it, and it also will travel really well because it won't melt and slide around and come apart. The key is to use cake boards and cake boxes, which you can get at Michael's or Amazon. The cake gets iced on a cake board that fits perfectly inside a matching box. So the one I'm doing today is a 13 by 9 inch 2-layer rectangular cake. You put it on a 14 by 10 board that slides right into a 14 by 10 box, and it's nice and secure for travel. So let's talk about crumb layers. Hello everybody on this gorgeous spring day. It has been forever since I posted anything. Sorry, I got a little waylaid by regular life and business. This is just a quick video on an awesome cake hack called a crumb layer. I don't always use crumb layers because they are time consuming, but sometimes you have to. So this particular cake is very popular. It's a half, you can sort of tell here, it's got a vanilla layer and a chocolate layer. And what I often do, besides icing my water bottle, is as soon as the cake layer has cooled, I put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes or 30 minutes and then take it back out to ice it so that it's easy to ice without it picking up any crumbs. But this particular cake has a really fluffy chocolate layer, and it is very difficult with a good sticky vanilla buttercream to ice it. So what I do is a crumb layer, and if you do this without tipping it over, see all, oh, yep, I'm tipping it over. See all those crumbs on top there? Let's see here. Look, I'm like Julia Child already, dropping things on the floor. You can see all of those crumbs. So what you do is you just very quickly frost the top and sides of your cake, and you don't worry about all those crumbs, because what you're going to do after this is throw it in the freezer for about half an hour, and the butter in that buttercream will harden back up and hold on to all those messy crumbs. And then you'll frost the cake again with zero problems with fresh icing. Look at all those crumbs. I don't even mind them. Plus it helps you get those corners good and covered. Look at that. put our cake where we want it on the cake board. There we go. And you're going to use a paper towel. Just wipe along the bottom of your cake board. This is a 13 by 9 cake on a 14 by 10 cake board, which fits perfectly into a standard 14 by 10 box that you can just buy at Michael's or even on Amazon, so that when you're traveling with your cake, it doesn't slide around. Okay, this is going to go back in the freezer for about 30 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and frost this cake with a fresh batch of buttercream frosting. Okay, so now we have this gorgeous frosting, and I made this one on the thicker side so that there's no chance that it is going to run on the car ride to the party destination. One layer cake that's been in the freezer about half an hour. See those crumbs? And this frosting has hardened and is holding on to the crumbs. So now we just frost it. And it's a lot easier because the crumbs are stuck in there nice and hard. So that's it. I'll then go on to pipe the edges and decorate it, and you'll see examples of this kind of cake on the website. But it's a great way to make the cake look really bright and clean, and you can immediately pop it into the freezer. Make sure you wrap the box in cellophane or store it in an airtight cake container, and put it in the refrigerator the night before the event. Leave it out on the counter a few hours before serving, and you've got a perfectly fresh cake that'll travel anywhere you want. Thanks, guys.